Uh, Welcome once again, the MBA class. This is our third lecture in research methods. Today we are covering the topic of research design, but we are concentrating on the qualitative research design. The last week we covered quantitative research design. Today we are looking at the qualitative research designs. This is a structure of the various research designs. We will look at each of them in turn. We'll start with the grounded theory and move clockwise until we end with ethnographic studies. Although the ethnographic study may be in the fourth lecture. So, grounded theory. This theory originates from sociology and was developed by Gleiser and Strauss. It is appropriate when little is known about a phenomenon. The aim is to produce or construct an explanatory theory that uncovers a process inherent in the substantive area of inquiry. The moment you have a subject area or a phenomena that is not known, very unknown, very new, so you need to think about grounded theory. It's one of the theories that helps you to study a new phenomena. One of the defining features of grounded theory is that it aims to generate theory that is grounded in the data. Grounded theory commonly uses interviews, or interviewing participants with open-ended questions, and the participant observation, or focus group discussions. And the unit of analysis is a phenomena, not individuals. For some of you who are familiar with qualitative methods, you discover that interviews, observations, focus group discussion is very common in qualitative methods. So once you have a phenomenon you want to study, think about interviews, think about observation, think about focus group discussion. And when you discuss that at length, you might find some developments coming out of the discussion, and it may lead you to a theory. That's eventually what we'll call grounded theory. We'll explain more about that later. Grounded theory and phenomenology are related in that they are normally presented together because one is an extension of the other, and they use very similar data collection methods. The difference is that phenomenology begins with a research question, while grounded theory is conducted to discover a research question for testing. So that's the difference between phenomenology and grounded theory. The other one, grounded theory, starts from a blank, completely no information, with prior information, no research questions, no nothing. Just start by observing the phenomena, and then you go ahead to interview people about the phenomena, and then you observe the phenomena, and then you discuss the phenomena, and eventually you can come out with research questions, you come out with some conclusions, even theories as the case in point. So an example of grounded theory. There was a study conducted by PASGA. PASGA is an acronym for some organization in Nairobi. So this study was conducted by PASGA trainees in the outskirts of Nairobi among women in labor wards. The participants' observation were that the husbands responded so quickly when they were commanded by their wives to bring anything. After observing the phenomena for some time, they concluded that women have power over men in labor wards. And the theory we can develop from here is that there is gender power reversal in labor wards. Ordinarily, we know that men have power, and men exercise a lot of power over the male folk. But this study found that the labor ward was different. When a woman, a wife, is in labor, whatever he commands is brought immediately. Bring a basin, bring water, bring this. The men just run to bring. So that is how that theory was developed, that in this particular incident, power is reversed. The women hold the power while they're in labor wards. Of course, when they come out of the labor ward, then we go back to our old power relations. So that is grounded theory. We can now move on to the second design. This is case study design. A case study is an in-depth study of a particular research problem rather than a sweeping statistical survey or a comprehensive comparative inquiry. Is often used to narrow down a very broad field of research into one or a few easily researchable examples. Case studies are often used in exploratory research. They can help us generate new ideas that might be tested by other methods. They are an important way of illustrating theories and can help show how different aspects of a person's life are related to each other. Most students, when you tell them to do a study, research, they always think about a case study. We are studying something, motivation, case study of. We are studying employee training, case study of. We are studying productivity, case study of. So every time they think about case study. But the point here is that a case study is an in-depth study of a particular phenomena. And so it's important to know that a case study is not always, as the students put it, case studies are in-depth analysis of a particular research problem. In-depth analysis. Maybe in our further lectures or discussion, we'll be able to look at case study using an example. Case study research can mean single or multiple case studies. It can include quantitative evidence, which relies on multiple sources of evidence and benefits from prior development of theoretical propositions. Case studies may involve both qualitative and quantitative research methods. The general purpose of a case study is to describe an individual case, maybe a person, maybe a business, maybe an organization, in some detail, and identify key issues coming out of it. So case study is, as we said, we'll use an example later on in our discussions to clarify what a case study is. The third type of design here is historical design. The purpose of a historical research design is to collect, verify, and synthesize evidence from the past to establish facts that defend or refute your hypothesis. It uses secondary sources and a variety of primary documentary evidence, such as logs, diaries, official records, reports, archives, and non-textual information, e.g. maps, pictures, audios, and visual recording. example of historical research. Others have studied the historical progression of societies, e.g. Karl Marx observed the historical progression of economic systems from primitive to feudal and then to capitalism. Other examples would include the study of historical events like wars and revolutions. But even in business, you can do a historical study where you pursue something historically over time. I mean, if you want to do the economic part of it, you can trace the economic development of Uganda over time. Of recent, poverty has been traced over time. If you look at some of the statistics we have, you'll find that by 86, poverty was at a particular level. And then later on, poverty reduces over time. And they say now poverty is about 15%. But in the 1986, it could have been 40, 50%. So this can be studied historically. You can trace it historically down. So that is historical research design. The next research design is action research design. Now this creates knowledge based on inquiries conducted within specific and often practical contexts. The purpose of action research is to learn through action that then leads on to personal or professional development. Then the intervention is carried out, during which time pertinent observations are collected in various forms, and the new interventional strategies are carried out, and the cyclic process repeats, continuing until a sufficient understanding of the problem is achieved. Action research. As the name suggests, action research is intended to produce an action. If you observe a problem in your organization, you can undertake an action research, which will help you to unearth what causes the problem. And after you've discovered what causes the problem through research, you can be able to devise methods of solving that problem. Once you do that, you are undertaking an action research. So that's the purpose of action research. An example, if you take the field of education, action research involves the collection of information regarding the current educational programs and then the outcomes. Then analyze the information, develop a plan to improve it, collecting changes after a new plan is implemented, and then developing conclusion regarding the improvements. So in action research, you have a problem. You investigate the problem. After investigating the problem, you institute an action to help solve the problem. After you have instituted an action, then you implement the action. And then if the action works well, the problem is solved. That's action research. The fifth type of research design is phenomenological. Phenomenology is used to identify phenomena and focus on subjective experiences and understanding the structure of those lived experiences. It was founded in the early 20th century by Edmund Husserl and Martin Heidegger and originated from philosophy. Phenomenology is used to describe in depth the common characteristics of the phenomena that has occurred. The primary data collection method is through in-depth interviews. Like other qualitative methods, you don't start with a well-formed hypothesis. In phenomenology, you often conduct a lot of interviews, usually between 5 and 25 for common themes, to build sufficient database or data set to look for emerging themes. Use other participants to validate findings. An example, There has been an explosion in the last 5 years in online courses and training. But how do students engage with these courses? While you can examine time spent and content assessed using log data, and even assess students' achievement vis-a-vis a person vis-a-vis in-person courses, phenomenological study would aim to better understand students' experience and how that may impact comprehension of the material. Well, we are all in the boat now. We are all now on online learning. We all have the experiences with online learning now. If you haven't had the experience, then you haven't started. This experience is important. So the question here before us is, how is the phenomena of online learning? Of course, many countries have gone online. The Western world, many Western world, and even the Eastern world, some of them have gone online. But what is the experience with online learning? We have our own personal experiences. So if you wanted to describe your experiences with online learning, you can actually do it now. Some of you have been complaining about inability to enroll, inability to access resources, inability to access the Moodle platform, and so on and so on. But that's the negative part. There are also positive experiences with online learning. And you are yet to experience those positives because we are at the learning curve where everything looks very hard. But over time, you'll find it is very, very convenient, especially when you have to study at odd hours. You don't have to be at the class at the same time. You can actually learn at your own pace, at your own time. That's an